Hey there guys, welcome back to Mana Down Under. For today's Commander deck tech, we are looking at Kykar Wind's Fury. This is a hot new Jeskai Commander from Core 2020, and people are loving it. So with 4 mana, 3/3 with flying, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white spirit token with flying. In addition, sacrifice a spirit, add 1 red to your pool. So for my build, I've gone with a token generating Spell-Slinging deck. The idea is we're going to overrun them with tokens, and by disrupting them and destroying their permanents, we're creating our token army and we're just going to run on through like nothing even happened. I think she's a very strong commander. A lot of synergy, can be done budget, can be done expensive, can be done combo, lots of different ways to do it, and the sun's coming in and my god, it looks horrible. Yo, let's get into it. So first up, some cards that really do support our game plan. 1000-Year Storm just lets us go off. When we cast one spell, we cast another and then another, and things just get out of hand. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, copy for each other instant sorcery you've cast before at this turn you may choose new targets. So you can turn Lightning Bolt into 4 Lightning Bolts. You're living the dream. Pass and Flames, similar idea, but we can use our whole graveyard in one go. And the same with Mythic's Mastery. We're just utilizing our entire graveyard. We're just trying to go off with as many spells as we can to generate as many tokens as we can. Other cards that can be a bit of a game plan. 8th Flux Reservoir, because of our Storm-like mechanic where we're playing a lot of spells, we gain a ton of life and we start doming people for 50 damage very easily. Sentinel Tower, again, that Storm-like playing nature. We're generating so many spells out of a turn, we can start pinging a lot, we can cut down creatures and planeswalkers like they're nothing. And Icecrown Scepter, that card that keeps going up. I actually don't run Dramatic Reversal on this deck for once, but there's so many instants in this deck which work so well under it. You could have removal, counter spells, lightning bolts, pick whatever you want, there's so many good options. Even just simple draw. Alright, onto tokens. You see a very common theme. A lot of it's whenever you cast an instant sorcery or a non-creature spell, we pretty much generate tokens through that means. So most of the deck will be rather cheap to generate plenty of tokens, and we've crammed as most of the token generators in this deck. There are other ones, but at that point the deck's starting to skew one side. So Pyromancer, staple at the point. Monastery Mentor, their prowess on the monk tokens as well as him is huge in this deck. These 1/1s are hitting for like 4 very easy. And Talrand, which is a great mono blue commander by the way, very strong. We're getting 2/2 flying drakes out of him for every instant sorcery. It doesn't take much to build an army. Additional port, the new Saheeli, we create little servo tokens, which we can also buff into big things if we need to. The uncommon Murmuring Mystic can make little 1/1 Flyerbird tokens, really cool. And the Locust God isn't when we cast, but when we draw, we get insect tokens with haste. But we have that many cantrips in the deck and so much draw, we can generate quite a good army through it. Plus he's got built-in recursion, so he kind of does support the theme quite well. Now for token support, we're generating that many tokens. If we could only have parallel lives in our deck, it's like there's a color shifted one out there. Anointed Procession is a must-have in the deck, double up your entire token army. But we can support it in addition with things like Divine Visitation. Instead of making 1/1s, we can start making these big 4/4 flyers. Now, it does kind of screw over Kykar a little bit, where they're not spirits anymore, so you can't sacrifice them for mana. Jeskai Ascendancy gives your whole team prowess pretty much, so you can really start stacking up the damage. It does give you a looting style mechanic, which could come in handy. Kathos Crusade can win games very easy. Every time a creature in this battlefield, put a counter on everything you control. If you're making 4 or 5 tokens a turn, you've just given a permanent buff to the entire team. And Porphyros, God of the Forge, one of my personal favourite mono-red commanders. Every time a token enters the battlefield, hemorrhage everyone for 2 damage. You can close out games, especially multi-way games, so quick with him. Plus indestructible with a genuine pain to deal with. Alright, all that draw, lots of good old cantrips. Take your pick. I've crammed a lot in here. I've got Ponder, Opt, Preordain, Brainstorm, Sleight of Hand, Serum Visions, and Probe. Oh, Probe, how the mighty have fallen. But it's your preference, take your pick. I've gone with nice cheap 1 mana cantrips, a lot of them, because they help generate more tokens. And those tokens can be sacrificed for mana. More the middle high-end draws. I love Frantic Search because sure, you don't actually gain any hand size, you draw 2, discard 2, but you untap 3 lands, and those 3 lands can be used for something else. Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time, that delve mechanic is really strong in a deck like ours where we're really ripping through our deck. Finale of Revelation, having that X greater than 10 part can do wonders for us, untapping 5 lands, having no hand size, and drawing so many cards is lovely. Echo of Eons, it's that close to the real deal for Power 9, it's this close. Having that flashback again is very helpful for late game. And of course, Skull Clamp works wonders in a token deck like this. We have so many 1/1 tokens running around the board. If you just pay 1 mana, you draw 2 cards and you live the dream. Ooh. Alright, into counters. This is where we're going to generate a lot of our tokens in addition with our drawing. Every time we disrupt them or destroy something of theirs, we get tokens. That's how we're gonna go with this. So Cryptic Command and Mystic Confluence are great. They offer us lots of options. Mainly the draw is the big part. Counterspell and Render Silent are good just staples in the format at this point. Render Silent can really clap some cheeks. It makes people cry. Dovin's Veto, the new uncommon. Just having a non-counterable spell is always handy. I love the First to Live Disallow. Being able to hit activate abilities does come in handy, especially if they're trying to go off with a combo or something. Swan Song, it's a dirty cheap counterspell. And this thing, I remember when it came out during Theros and it was like 30 cents. Now it's like $5 a piece. Should have grabbed a lot more of them. Arcane Denial, having that draw built in is mainly why I picked it, because we want to keep refilling our hand whenever we can. Unwind and Rewind are great counterspells. The whole untapping land mechanics is great for this deck, because we can use it for more cantrips, generate more mana, make more tokens, off we go. Now more of our direct removal, Path to Exile, Source of Plowshare, and the new Winds of Abandon are great ways just to start picking apart their army. And with this, funny enough, we don't really worry about indestructible creatures too much. The new Generous Gift is just any permanent removal, which for us can come in handy. Sometimes they might have a annoying land we can't hit, or a Planeswalker or something. Having this is very helpful. In addition, I like a Lightning Bolt and a Comet Storm. Lightning Bolt, never go wrong with it, it always does something. Comet Storm is here because, well, we've got so many tokens running around, we can really sack him and start dumping all the mana into Comet Storm if we want to close out the game. Wear and Tear, Commander staple. Now, I know Due Respect isn't a direct removal, but it's a very fun card and I think it's quite underrated. For 2 mana, permanents enter the battlefield, tap this turn, draw a card. Now, it doesn't lock them out of the turn for the turn, funny enough, but it does just mess up with their plan a little bit. They can't make combos go off, their land won't be usable straight away, same with their mana rocks. He kind of just has a bit of fun with them, and you draw a card. Plus the artwork. My girl Eilish Nor, how stunning does she look? That thing in foil would look pretty good. For our board wipes, we just run Time Wipe and Cyclonic Rift. Time Wipe mainly because we can bounce our commander out there, you can sack your tokens to mana of course, and then you can board wipe and then replay your commander, hopefully. At Cyclonic Rift, if you get the overload off, usually it's a game-winning board wipe. They just can't reset their board. So if you have counter spells to protect it, go for it. Now into support for this deck. Baral, Chief of Compliance, funny. He's really good in this deck. Making your instant sorceries cost 1 less to cast is very good, considering that's the main part of the deck. But if we counter something, we get to draw and discard. We have a lot of counter spells. I think it's pronounced Etheria, the God of the Polis. She's really good in this deck. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you had another creature into the battlefield under your control last turn, draw a card. Because we have instant sorceries out of the wazoo, we're always making tokens, so she's always providing us a good steady bit of draw. Plus, you can become a pretty good beater. Goddess Knights, one of my cards I loved playing with back in the day. Just to hemorrhage everyone for 2 damage every time you play instant sorcery. Can't go wrong. Polymorph can be a really fun side theme you might want to skew off and build into. You can start destroying your tokens you're generating to tutor into essentially your more important creatures. So hopefully the idea is you hit another token generator. That's the plan with it. So you maybe destroy one of these spirits, hopefully it leads into another, I don't know, Remembering Mystic or Young Pyromancer. Finale of Promise, just the fact that we can cast things from our graveyard and 2 of them at the same time is very good. And if X is 10 or more, it doubles up, so it can really push that storm counter pretty hard. Still on support, we run 2 tutors. Mystical Tutor is great, so it's elaborate instant or sorcery. Can't really go wrong there. Enlightened Tutor is good for our artifacts and enchantments. It does help get some combo or protection pieces out. The card is getting expensive now because it's just seeing that much play in Commander and other formats. I think it's sitting about 35 now. It's nearly up there with Vampiric. We run both the booties for protection for our Commander because we do have a lot of counter spells and we can get her out of there in danger, but just that guaranteed hexproof for Shroud is handy. Alright, onto the mana rocks. Kept it simple, I run my 3 signets. Alright, for the lockets, I run the Zoros and Izzet, mainly because these 2 run blue, we're more heavy into blue. I went with them because they do have the draw mechanic built in, just you never know when you need a bit more draw. Of course, Sol Ring because it's Commander, but Ashnod's Altar. Sacrificing spirit tokens for 1 red mana might not be enough, so sacrificing them for 2 generic might be more. Plus you can use it for any token. And this comes in handy with things like Finale of Promise, where you really want to start dumping a lot of mana into things. You can sacrifice a lot of tokens to really feed up that X spell. Alright, lands. So I've tried to keep it a little bit budget because some of the decks lately are getting expensive. And this deck actually does alright, because you can slow roll your opponent, control them pretty hard, and just slowly build up your good land base if you need to. So I've gone with the Guild Gates, nice and cheap. I went with my Temples because that scribe mechanic is really handy to have. And the Temples come in pretty cheap at less than $2 each. I run the Buddy Lands. With the recent printies in Ixalan and Dominaria, they're not too bad right now. Actually, you can get them for $3 to $5. I do run a command tower for any color, same with Mystic Monastery, taps for any color. I do run a Nimbus Maze because we have a nice diversity of land, so it's not the hardest thing to get off, and it's pretty cheap at like $1.50. So you can see with the first 3 land types, I run all 3. So we have all 3 guild gates, we have all 3 temples, and all 3 buddy lands. We've gone with that theme. I also run Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse because we've got a lot of basics to pull out. Temple of False Gods for a little bit more that greedy land base. And Reliquary Tower is a must-have because of how much we draw in this deck. And finally, we do run 5 plains, 5 mountains, and 7 islands. And I do like my Glue lands. I love that vintage look. Alrighty, what do you think of Kykar? I think this is a great commander. It's very fun, very interactive. And you can build it so many different ways. You can go real sweaty combo try-hard play, just sit there storming off, trying to win right there on the turn. Or you can just slow roll your opponent, build up an army, and then just crush them in one hit. It's your play style, you pick. And with this, it can go 2 ways. You can go real budget. I've seen a lot of people actually building the deck with any color cantrips. So they're like the 1 mana red, target creature gains haste, draw card kind of things. People are doing that. Similar to Feather Redeemed kind of way. You can go that way, total budget. Or you can go real sweaty and run things like Force of Will or Force of Negation, or your alternate casting costs, and they're really expensive, and have like a $1,000 deck quite easy. And I have seen a lot of people do have a very expensive land base for this deck. You can go all your fetches, all your shocks, maybe even your original dual lands, go real hard. But yeah, this is a great commander, very versatile, be relevant for many years to come because there's always going to be good instant sorceries printed. Every core set or so they print a really good cantrip which will only buff this commander even more. There'll always be good things in Jeskai colors that can always make this deck better. So yeah, it's probably a good commander for people to get into. You can keep it, upgrade over the length of its lifespan. And yeah, I love this commander, I think it's pretty good. So let me know your thoughts, how would you like to build the deck? Have a good one guys, catch you later. Alrighty, it's that time of the video where we can do a bit of a shameless plug. So thank you for watching guys. If you enjoyed it, please sub and like, it really does help the channel's analytics out a lot. Maybe consider joining me on my other social platforms, where you can talk about anything and everything Magic related. And special thank you to our patrons. They make the channel what it is. These guys are the building blocks of Mana Down Under. They support the channel in many ways. And if you'd be interested in supporting the channel, links are down below and at the end of the video. Thank you guys.